Good morning, Northwood Temple Academy families. It is difficult to believe that summer is quickly coming to an end, and we have 3 weeks left before a new school year begins. Usually at this time of summer, excitement begins to fill the air as some teachers begin popping on campus to prepare their classrooms for returning students and begging their principals to give them their student list early. But as you are well aware, this has been a summer of waiting, waiting to see what the 2020-2021 school year would look like. Notice I did not say waiting to see if we would have school, because I knew at Northwood Temple Academy we would have school. I was not sure what the beginning would look like, but I knew that our children were depending on us to teach them, to prepare them, to nurture them, to develop them into what our mission statement describes as a kingdom leader. I knew that our students needed NTA. I knew that our students needed the normal of seeing the faces the people they know love them. Although at the same time I was acutely aware that the beginning of school would be far from normal. While waiting to see if the governor would allow school to open, the administrative team have been working diligently on the reopening plan, developing policies and procedures to ensure the safety of your children. We recognize there will be immense challenges, and there is no perfect plan to reopen school without a risk of COVID-19. However, according to the Harvard School of Public Health, scientific evidence indicates that risk to students and staff can be kept low if school adheres to strict control measures in 5 areas. The classroom, and let me just give you an example of what we've done in our classrooms. Of distancing the desks, taking out unneeded furniture so that the kids have plenty of room, and keeping the enrollment numbers down low. That's painful, however. The classroom size. Number 2, the buildings, activities, schedules, and policies. We tried to adopt and adapt best practices in those areas to best fit our demographics, available personnel, finances, and building attributes. The reopening plan is a living document, meaning that as we learn about new research and ideas, we will revisit our approach to COVID-19. We realize that these strategies work together as a multi-layered plan to reduce exposure and limit transmission of COVID-19. A parent survey was sent to each of you so that you could respond to our plan and share your concerns, thoughts, and ideas. We have taken your responses very seriously. It was quickly apparent, however, that whatever we did, it would be impossible to please everyone. Please understand, decisions had to be made for the safety of all students, the safety of all faculty. So if there is something that you do not like, would you consider following and doing for the good of all involved? Reopening strategies had to benefit all students and all staff. The responses indicated that approximately 80% of the parents who took the survey were somewhat satisfied to extremely satisfied. We have been careful to read and study other school reopening plans across the country. We have read as much research as possible on the what reopening safely means. This week I met with parents who are in the medical field who expressed their satisfaction with our reopening plan, and that they were very comfortable sending their most prized possessions back onto the campus of NTA. They offered some great solutions for ensuring a healthy classroom, which we will add to our plan and purchase for our buildings. These parents, along with 6 other parents in the medical field, have agreed to serve as the NTA Health and Safety Task Force. This task force will guide us in best practices for the safety of all of our children and staff. A revised copy of our reopening plan will be sent to you as soon as we update with more detailed policy of what the day-to-day implementation will look like on campus. Now I would like to address some of your comments and some of your concerns. Number 1, will there be a reduction in tuition if families opt to use the NTA Ignitia online curriculum? Ignitia is not free to NTA. We pay a yearly license, and a fee is charged every time a student opens a unit. Each extra personnel must be hired this year to facilitate our online program, so a reduction in tuition is not possible. However, there will be a reduction in the student resource fee due to the fact that Ignitia students do not use our textbooks. I want to make it clear that the Ignitia online program is not what you experienced last year with the NTA remote instruction. There will not be a teacher who will Zoom and teach the material. Ignitia is a fully online, faith-based curriculum. It provides a web-based solutions for virtual learning. Ignitia lessons include more than 50,000 multimedia elements like interactive games, audio and video clips, external web links, and off-computer assignments. Student learning will take place through those mediums, and without a face-to-face teacher, your children will need your help. Each student will be assigned a teacher who is monitoring the Ignitia program. This teacher will be available all day to answer student emails and questions. They will help navigate the program and from time to time give assistance in their lessons. They will not be available, however, to teach every lesson. The teacher or the facilitator will be responsible for grading and providing feedback to the parent and to the school. Ignitia allows students to continue enrollment at NTA. Why is that valuable? Well, NTA is an accredited school, recognized with the Department of Public Instruction in the state of North Carolina. It allows the student to be eligible for all of NTA athletic programs and extracurricular events. Report cards and transcripts will be stamped with the Northwood Temple Academy seal, an accredited school. The Ignitia program meets state standards, but the courses are not identical to the ones taught on our campus. If a child decides second semester to return to the classroom, please be aware that there will be a small adjustment, but it will not be a large adjustment. A training time will be scheduled for parents, where you will receive instruction in how to best help your child. You will receive an Ignitia handbook that you will be able to refer to throughout the semester. Make sure you check the weekly emails, the NTA website, or the NTA Facebook page for announcement of available training times. Well, our 2020-2021 school theme comes from John 13, verses 34 and 35. It says, "A new commandment I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." If there ever was a time in history where we should commit to loving one another, it is now. While studying this verse, it was the word new that pierced my heart. The Greek word for new in this verse is kainos. It means as respects substance of a new kind, unprecedented, novel, uncommon, unheard of. And out of Vine's Expository Dictionary of New Testament Words, new means which as recently made is superior to what it succeeds. Wow. You see, God's kind of love, his expectation of the way we love, is superior to the way we have been taught. I love the definition unprecedented. We have heard over and over lately that we are living in unprecedented times. Well, we need a new, unprecedented love for one another. Our theme word is reboot. Reboot means to start anew, to create a new version. That just excites me. It has made me examine the way I love, and I realize I needed a reboot. Perhaps you need a reboot, a way of loving one another, God's way, which means we are always looking out for the good of others and not just ourselves. We are going to need a reboot with each other, believe me, as the drop-off line for school will be a little slower this year due to having taking temperatures. So, I implore you, if you need a reboot in the love for one another and your patience, to please take the time to do that this summer. It'll be a little slower, but it's for the safety of your children. More information to follow will come about the procedures for drop-off and the taking of the temperatures. Let's do this, NTA. Let's reboot our way of loving one another and make this an unprecedented year of unprecedented care for one another. Please remember to read the weekly e-news. I can't possibly take the time to share with you everything that is happening this morning through this Facebook Live. But if you will make it a faithful practice every week to read your weekly e-news, to follow the NTA Facebook page and Instagram pages, and check the NTA website weekly for announcements concerning our Welcome Back Zoom meeting and any other announcements pertaining to the reopening of school. You can stay on top of the information just by reading those available resources. We are so excited about the new school year. Finally, some of the fear is receding, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the children, loving the children, and building relationships for our new school year. Even this morning, someone donated to us 10 gallons of disinfectant. That was a blessing. We have spent a lot of money in disinfectant, hand sanitizers, UV lights, air purifiers, tents, temperature thermometers, but we're ready for your children. And we're ready for them to enter this campus the safest way possible. And why do we do that? Because we love your children. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great 3 weeks before school begins.